do that.
How did you get by the laser field in the Great Hall?
Aha. The laser fields. Well.
Evening. So somebody left me a comment and it got jogging my memory about something. They left me a comment. Sorry, I probably should say who it was. Somebody SRR2791. Not sure who that is, but I haven't seen them before. Evening. Beth, Birdie, sister. So when this all went down, Steve, buddy, hopefully we can chat here because I got some interesting things and I want to hear your opinion about what that was. So when this all went down, Paul Wortman did an interview with Frank Magazine, and he did quite a long interview. Paul Wortman is Gabriel Wortman's father. He did a 4-hour interview. And Frank Magazine posted some excerpts of that on their website. I could probably track it down and link it. I don't know if it's behind a paywall or not. I have a subscription to them, so let me see if I can. Hopefully everybody's having a good night. I believe they made it available publicly. So I'll put the link in here now. There we go. Morning, Paul. Morning. Yes. I do have to remember. Not everybody lives in my time zone. So there was this interview that Paul Wortman did shortly after, like I would say probably within a few days, with Frank Magazine. It was a 4-hour interview that he did with them, and he gave them a lot of information. I would suggest listening to it. There's lots of little interesting tidbits in there, and he talks about how he reported him to the police and the guns, and he relates an interesting story about Halifax PD. I'll let him speak his own words, but I will play this because when SRR 2791 made this comment about Halifax Examiner article and spoke of Wortman's relatives, it jogged my memory. Let's see, how am I trying to put this together? So I've been trying to show you guys how CBC Global, the media has been altering this story. I was speaking with a friend of mine, actually, funnily enough, tonight about some of this a little bit, and he's not too familiar with the story, but he said, you know, it's so interesting how this story has gotten so little airplay. And I said, well, I would say that's very intentional because they don't want to talk about stuff. And they would prefer that this story gets Orwellian hold because they don't want people looking into it, because if they start to look into it, they're going to start to see all the problems. Evening. I don't know if I can say that name. Aichki? Aikichi? Sounds like a very good Japanese name, possibly. Are you in Japan? And so the press has been kind of black holing this story for the most part. I mean, they'll talk about killer bees, they'll talk about all kinds of other things, but they won't talk about this story very much. And then they retroactively go back and remove bits and pieces. And anyway, so when I was thinking about Wortman and the interview that he did, he said something right at the very beginning. And so here I will play what he said.
That's why I wanted to talk to you. You know what? I mentioned the CBC.
So he's speaking to Frank Magazine. That's the person who's starting at the beginning is Paul Wortman, Gabriel Wortman's father. And like I said, I think this happened within a few days, probably about 5 days, was the interview with Frank Magazine. Frank Magazine being the people who were at the first press conference and then got booted for asking questions about why do you need to withhold details if the man is dead. And the RCMP didn't like that question very much. They shut him down when he tried to ask him another question and never appeared again. Frank Magazine was on a blacklist. But I want you to listen to what he says about the CBC, because it got me thinking, and then it plays into, funnily enough, all the censorship that's been going on, as in the altering of things and retroactively going back and scrubbing things and technical issues where on the same stream everybody else seems to be fine, but certain ones don't. Clinton Ellison's story getting meddled with. Anyway, and so that it appears as though nobody's done anything. But listen to what he says to Frank Magazine.
That's why I wanted to talk to you. You know what? I mentioned the CBC this morning. I told the guy, I called him a while ago, like 3 or 4 days ago. 3 days ago or 2 days ago.
Has he called you back?
Well, the deal was, I said, I have something that I think may be of value or at least interest pertaining to the fact that this whole horrible mess there was an opportunity maybe to have this not happen. And they must have been wondering, what does he think this, what the heck could he possibly say?
I want to get this information out, but it's no good to me if CBC has it, you know what I mean?
Well, no, and I'm not. So here's what I told him. I hadn't thought it through. I just thought this may have been averted. As I'm talking to you, I strongly feel he lost his ability. If they had taken those weapons, he lost his ability to get more.
Yep.
He couldn't have done, if he wanted to hurt somebody, he'd have to do with who knows what, but not what he had. And I don't know if I told you, there's a fellow that called me from Halifax. I don't know if I should be giving you names or not, because it's going to really pee them off if you start using names.
Give me the names, and I feel like it's pertinent. I'll use it. If not, I won't use it gratuitously.
Okay, so I'm not going to play too much of the interview. Like I said, there's lots of good stuff in there. But what I am going to point out is the fact that Mr. Wortman contacted the CBC almost immediately to share his story about his son, about the weapons, about everything, and CBC never ran anything. Why? That's spooky. This man had firsthand knowledge of lots of stuff, and he had stories abound to share about reporting things to the RCMP, to which he did, apparently. And yet, CBC wasn't interested in sharing any of that in the immediate aftermath of what happened, and never has, to the best of my knowledge. Why? Why does Frank Magazine, a little bunk media art, not that they do good journalism, to the best of my knowledge. I'm not very familiar with them, but they did ask some really great questions, and they have kind of some pretty good knowledge of what has happened here. Yet CBC doesn't want to hear from the father about stories about guns, reporting guns to RCMP, how to avoid things, etc. Frank Magazine will listen to Paul Wortman, who has firsthand knowledge of this, being that it's his son, being that he witnessed certain things, being that he was assaulted, being that he reported his son to the RCMP, but CBC didn't want to tell you? That's spooky. The more I'm looking at this, the more censorship I'm seeing, the more guided, really engineering that has been going on in the background about all of it, and how they have tried to guide this, and the media is complicit on this. Clearly, the CBC is a wing of the federal government, as is the RCMP. It's one and the same, basically. But I find that really, really suspect, because normally a journalism would run articles on this kind of thing. They're going to want any kind of information. And if it's coming from the dad, I mean, doesn't that guy know probably a lot of stuff? But CBC waited days, called the guy back. He told them a bunch of stuff, and you never heard anything from them. They will go and talk to victims' families. Why didn't they want to say something from Mr. Wortman? Why did they want to cover up stuff that Mr. Wortman was saying that was not very pro-RCMP? Saying that this could have all been averted. It never even need to happen in the first place. Again, the culpability. So CBC is pie-plating for the RCMP once again. But I think this one is quite big because, I mean, it was right after it happened. There was a second part of that. Another thing I would be interested in, I won't go on very long about any of this, was I would really be interested in hearing from you in the comments and anybody who watches after this about why the pictures of Mr. Wortman's garage, which was fully destroyed in the fire, surfaced 1 month later. And I traced kind of a little bit the source of these photos. I haven't looked deep into it, but it's referred to as supplied. Usually when you look underneath the picture, it will credit who took the picture, where they got it from, right? Like an author attributes an author, a photojournalist, the same type of thing. Or if it's just a private citizen, it'll just say the name. Which actually, now that I'm thinking about that, brings me to another one. But anyway, the photos supplied of this garage that was burned down a month ago, which have just now surfaced, are, quote, supplied. Supplied by whom? Who supplied the photos a month later? Equally, the lady from Ontario who spoke about how terrible it was living as a neighbor, witnessing the assaults, reporting weapons to the RCMP, her stuff comes out a month later. I'd be interested, and the third one that I just thought of was the video that was posted on Facebook from Ms. Marshall, the daughter of the owner of the cigar hut. She lives in Ottawa. How did she think to look on the surveillance tape in Nova Scotia and post that onto Facebook, number one, would be a question of mine to you. And number two, why is she not credited? It's like they want to push her into the background too. Not just that they'll clip out the time on that clock. Somebody asked me about the IONET camera system. I had researched that. It's a company called RNet that builds that security system. And to the best of my knowledge, once again, it's an IP auto detect camera system. So you plug and play. You plug it in, it connects to the internet, and like your computer, it automatically detects what time it is and timestamps the video. So the 10:55 on the clock, I believe, is the accurate time, because the only way, unless I've got the wrong type of system, the only way that you can go and actually change that time is to go in manually, and then, which would obviously require some effort. So if the person is like, well, listen, I just want to set the time off by half an hour. Why? I would have no idea on a security system. Why would you set the time back half an hour? And I'm not saying that they did it after the fact, or, there's some funny business going on the RCMP's end or on Ms. Marshall's end or anything like that. What I am saying is the RCMP told you the accurate time that was 10:55, but have just lied about it and said that it's actually 10:25 because it fits their time frame better. The time is, in fact, 10:55, because I can't see anybody logically setting the time back half an hour and being like, well, you know what, I'm going to make the time on my security camera wrong. So when I get robbed, if I report it to the police, I'm actually going to have to subtract half an hour from the time that actually shows, because then it's going to show the truth. Any police people would be like, what? You can't use this video in court because it says a different time. So the time is right on that one, I believe. And I don't understand the photo at the and equally would like to hear your opinions on that, of the time from the, let's see, where am I sharing here? The time from this surveillance photo, the last surveillance photo the RCMP supplied, which is in Enfield. This is directly across. If you go across this overpass here, Highway 102, you will, right over here behind these trees is the truck stop. In fact, you can kind of see the roof of the truck stop here, because that's where the truck stop, gas bar, the big stop in Enfield where he got killed was. However, if you look very carefully at the time here, it says 10:31, which is, I've discussed this a few times now. This is 52 minutes out, because they say on their little funny nonsense make-believe time frame situation here. Is this it? Here we go. This is the official RCMP supplied press kit, 10:23, but no, the photo says 10:31. Now, first of all, how is he down there at 10:31 in this gray Mazda? That doesn't add up. So you either have to go with one of two things: the clock is wrong, or the time that the RCMP have supplied is wrong, and in fact, the timestamp is true. And I tend to believe that the timestamp on this photograph is true. Why do I say that? Because this is a truck weigh station. Truckers need to have accurate information in their logbooks. And the other final point to that one would be the truck weigh station is run by the RCMP. as you can see from this photo. This is from the side of the booth. RCMP. So you can't have two clocks that are out. What are they doing up here? I don't understand. And then you've got the whole business of the red Mazda. I was speaking with hitters on the phone today. What is with the red Mazda? Why did they want to say the red Mazda? That doesn't fit any of the story. It's not a typo. I can't see how somebody is literally hitting the wrong keystrokes and hits red versus gray. I'm pretty sure that they had a lot of people who were proofreading the speech that Darren Campbell said to the media, which no media were there really, right? Because they only take calls on the phone, to which they edited those two. But Darren Campbell addressed neither of these discrepancies. In the case of the cigar hut, they just simply clip out the time frame. That would be this one. Just like in the media, they clip out the time frame and put in the bottom of it 1025. But right above this, it would say on the left-hand side, IONET, and right over here, it would say 1055, to which we have a photo of that, I believe. Right, that's in the other folder. So why are we having all these discrepancies? Why is the CBC not wanting to report that? Right? 10, oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't share again. 1055 in the top here, right? On the cigar hut. This is the camera company, IONET, which I looked up. It appears to be auto detect IP because it is connected to the cloud. And we do know that Ms. Marshall in Ottawa obtained this video. It wasn't Mr. Johnson. It was Ms. Marshall who posted it on her Facebook page, which means it was connected to the internet, connected to the cloud, which means it's auto IP detecting. So the time here is, to me, unless I've got something wrong, accurate. Yet the RCMP will go and, again, play with the timeline so it suits them and will cut, like the media did, the time out of the top hand corner of the picture. So there seems to be something very awry with what the RCMP are telling people. The media are complicit in telling people or not telling people, as in editing versus scrubbing. Scrubbing, to me, also very, in the case of Mr. Ellison's video, it was very, I don't know the word for it, but it was very covert. Because you didn't want to go and take the video down. You didn't want to edit it and then repost it. No, what you did was you went back and used YouTube Scrubber to just remove a little piece of it. So it appears as though it's the original video. It's not. It was the altered video. The altered video, which just in happenstance I got early, because if I didn't get that early, I never would have known what Clinton Ellison said. You guys would never have known. Maybe you would have. I don't know. You probably would have come across it maybe on your own, but I wouldn't have been able to share it, right? And so why is the RCMP wanting to say no time on this photo? Why do they want to say there's a yellow stripe on his pants when there's no yellow stripe on his pants? Why do they want to say the gray Mazda is down there at 10:31 when he can't be down there at 10:31? Because at 10:31, where would he be? He would be 6 minutes away from the cigar hut, which is, what, 40-some minutes away from 41 minutes from Enfield. So that's simply impossible. Just like the tracker, impossible. This is all a lot of fucking bullshit, man. I'm telling you, it's a lot of bullshit. I did watch Clinton's Facebook post, and I did upload it. It's on the channel right now, but I'm not going to make it public for I don't know, a couple of reasons. Just like I don't play or read Frank's articles just because I don't want to get taken down for copyright stuff. But Clinton's article was very, or Clinton's, I don't know what you want to call it. I suppose I could show it. It's fucking freaky, man. I feel like the RCMP got to him. He sits there and discredits himself. Like, he just goes on about how crazy he is and how sorry he is he ever said anything about the RCMP, and trying to say to people, well, you would never go in there and save anybody who is shooting anybody with a machine gun. Well, frankly, I don't know about other people in this room, but I certainly would. I certainly would, and I'm not a police officer. I absolutely would run in there. Not because I'm, you know, Superman or anything stupid, but because I just wouldn't want to see people dying. It would absolutely destroy me. So I would have to run in. And so for Mr. Ellison to then just excuse the RCMP, but in the same video, he's going off and he's bashing Truro police. Truro police who got ixnayed from having any kind of involvement by the RCMP with the manhunt for this man, or the involvement right even at the beginning. Amherst and Truro police both were excluded by the RCMP. They instead brought in people from New Brunswick underneath their own umbrella of RCMP. They needed to have it completely in-house, so they had 100% control of the data that went out. Yes, and I would agree, Little Miss So. I would agree. The RCMP got to him. Yeah, I guess why not? Just fucking let's play it. Might as well, right? Let's see here. If they want to screw my channel over, please subscribe to the alt channel that I have. It's listed, it's not in the info box, but I think 2-3 videos ago, I leave all of my other channels and things. Not that I know how to use any of them, but really, but I know the YouTube one is there. I don't understand if they boot your YouTube account, does that mean you lose? Does that mean you lose any account that's associated on there? Why the fuck is this not doing that? Techno. Okay, now I want to do, why is this not wanting to move? Move, bitch, get out the way, get out the way. You've got the coronavirus. I like that. That's fucking hilarious. Okay, so let's see. We'll go to my channel, which it's not going to do because I am using so much RAM right now. Maybe I can't play it. Maybe the God is telling me, do not play that video. It's not a good idea. Maybe. I don't know. I believe this shit now. Maybe I'm just totally losing my mind. Okay, let's see here. Share screen. Intro. Yes, thanks very much to Steve. Big, huge thank you to the intro. To Steve LTT. Please, he's in the chat. Please go subscribe to him. Awesome stuff always on his channel. Despite the RCMP censoring him, I would think he's definitely getting boomed. All right, let's see. I think I actually have to go to YouTube Studio because it's private. You get to see all my private videos. Look at all these. Bang. Just lots and lots of them. Good stuff in there. One day, maybe. Okay. Let's have a watch.
This isn't going to be easy for me. I have to get quite a few things off my chest. I think it's going to help me mentally from going totally crazy. First of all, I've got to apologize to the RCMP. My comments on the news about you not running right in there, they were wrong. My condolences for your fallen comrade.
This was another thing I noticed about the entire interview. He's sniffing as though he were crying, but he's not crying. Either that or he's got a really bad cold or likes cocaine a lot because he's doing a lot of sniffing. But he starts off by saying, I'm mentally unstable and I'm sorry to the RCMP for what I said, which I actually witnessed, but sorry about that. I was just speaking out of anger. And we do know that Tara made a video and said something negative about the RCMP, and they friendly reminded her that they could, if they wanted to, charge her. I might think that Clinton Ellison is in the same boat. Didn't he find his brother's body and the road and hid? Yes, this is the same fellow.
And I appreciate you coming down there and saving my life. For everybody bashing that alert like I did on the news, stop. Would you have ran in there against that gunman with a fucking machine gun? I doubt it. To the people in the mental health that come to get me the other day when I made the scene on Facebook, I'm tremendously sorry.
He made a scene on Facebook. I never got to see this. I searched for this guy high and low, and I don't know who sent it to Adrian, but Adrian sent it to me, this video, and his account isn't under Clinton Ellison. So that was probably why. Just like, who is that? Steve, come on, you know, buddy. Who is it? Darcy. Her page is not listed underneath her name either. Listed in a different name, right? So, and he's sitting there and he's saying, I made a scene on Facebook the other day. None of his stuff, by the way, is public. So this video is there, but you have to go into videos. Other than that, there's like not very much listed at all. But he's saying, you know, how he's sorry, and the mental health people had to come and get him because he made that video. That seems like a bit of an intimidation thing. I would be intimidated if the mental health people came to my door and said, you know, listen, you made a post on Facebook. You're a fucking nut. We're going to have to throw you into the hospital. Sounds like a bit intimidating. Just me. Just saying.
I know you only meant to help. I didn't want to go. I just wanted to go. I just wanted to be left alone. I'm not suing you. I apologize. Now for what I really have to get off my chest. I've been severely mentally ill for years. Severely mentally ill.
Oh.
Anxiety, everything you can imagine. In the mid-90s, my grandfather took a malicious charge.
This is interesting too. Sorry to keep pausing it, but do take note of the fact that he is saying that I'm a total basket case. So basically, I'm discredited anything that I've ever said in the past. It doesn't mean anything. You couldn't trust a word that I say. Does that sound like something somebody would say? Would you go, if you had mental problems, and say, you know what? I'm a total basket case. Don't believe anything that I say. He is on some medication, I'm sure. Wouldn't you be if this happened to you? Maybe he does have some issues, but this is not something that somebody would go around and brag about.
From the Truro Police Force.
Oh yeah, let's back that up. Sorry, the grandfather, or the father. His story is fucking interesting. I want to know more.
Father took a malicious charge from the Truro Police Force. Destroyed my family's life. My mother tried to kill herself so many times I lost count. My aunt lost her job at the Daily News. They misprinted something on my grandfather when she worked there. She misprinted something, and he sued them, so they fired her or something. If that wasn't bad enough, being tortured by all that hell, you know, he died suing them. We never got $1. Millions of dollars he was suing them for. That's my grandfather. This is on election 79. This is a copy of newspaper. That's my grandfather with Brian Mulrooney and his friend Joe Regan.
His grandfather is in politics.
Joe Regan
Okay.
took sexual charge the same time my grandfather did.
Sexual
I
charge.
can't remember how many times we took a trip down to Halifax to support Joe Regan in court. Me and my grandfather were on the CTV News on the grand staircase of the courthouse, giving our condolences and extending our, you know, sympathy for the pure hell that man went through. If all this wasn't bad enough to traumatize me to the empty shell I am pretty much today, you know, to function every day, I got to take pills and everything else. You know, I've been in and out of mental health so many times I lost count. I've seen so many doctors. I lost count. No word of a lie. So we went through all my grandfather's bullshit. He died soon. If that wasn't bad enough going through that hell, the girl I was with at the time, my fiance girlfriend, you know, we made a lot of mistakes through our relationship. You know, I was young and stupid. We had an abortion. You know, but more mine say than hers. You know, I don't really think she wanted to have the abortion, but we were young and in school, and I think she wanted to go to college and everything else. I didn't really want to be weighed down by a kid either. You know, we had the abortion. If that wasn't bad enough, you know, somebody told me she was cheating on me. I'm going through all my mental health with my grandfather. I'm smashing so many cars and vehicles all the time. I'm just going crazy. I've asked so many friends for help. You know, they tried. For all the friendships that I've hurt and crushed because of what I've gone through this hell, I apologize. You're still my friends. I love you all.
What has this guy done wrong? He doesn't
Back
need
to
to
the relationship.
apologize for anything.
So I cheated on one of her friends. And I told her to put it in her face so that I wouldn't feel so bad for what I heard her cheating on me. So I rocked the relationship horribly. We tried, you know, to carry on for a while. It wasn't easy. And especially with just, I was so mentally ill at the time, I never even really realized it. You know, even though I was getting mental help and stuff and seeing doctors, going crazy.
My doc, you can't admit this in court.
I broke up with her.
Anything I ever said, because I'm totally crazy.
Yeah, I broke up with her. Next thing you know, she's going up with a Truro police officer. And I'm fucking dead serious. This
More
guy
police.
tortured my fucking life. This guy threatened to kill me. This guy tried to run me, my brother, and my cousin off the fucking highway. This guy would circle my mother's house. Witnesses? Wow. How many do you want? You know? Circling my mother's house, giving me the fingers with my neighbors standing and watching? You're stupid. That wasn't bad enough. June 28th, 2002. I was driving down Prince Street in Truro. And there was a guy, if you're familiar with Truro, it's a 2-lane street. He was driving in the middle in the yellow line. So I yelled out the window, "Hey man, come on, move over." Tooted the horn. He must have called the police or something. Next thing I know, the police are pulling me over. Police are pulling me over, and they're, "Can we have your information? Can we have your vehicle information?" Sure, my truck's legal. Here's my insurance card. Threw it on the ground, told me to get out and pick it up. Get out, pick that up. Wow, took my seatbelt off, get out, picked it up. They kicked the shit right out of me. Slammed my face off my hood of my truck, beat shit at me. Put the cuffs on so bad, I lost some sensation in that pinky finger that I kind of can't straighten out. I asked for help for years, seen the doctors. Oh, they didn't believe me, thought I was crazy or what? You know, pure hell. After that police beating, you know, I was in the back of the police car, going to the jail cell, screaming and yelling. My neighbors heard me screaming on the police scanner. I went over and got my mother. My mother
The neighbors heard him screaming on the police scanner. Who has the police scanner? Why do they have a police scanner? I don't know. I don't have one. Maybe somebody here does.
Down to the Truro police station. Next thing I know, the cell door opens. I'm standing there in boxer shorts, soaked in bruises. My mother's with one of her friends that she knew. It's a police officer, a very nice gentleman. I've got the most respect for you. You know who you are. You've helped me out a couple times. You can go.
Sorry, who helped him out?
I shut the door. Said, very nice gentleman. I've got the most respect and bruises. My mother's with one of her friends that she knew. It's a police officer, a very nice gentleman. I've got the most respect for you. You know who you are. You've helped me out a couple times.
RCMP?
You can go. No charges. I shut the door. Said, go get a lawyer. I just want to sue. My mother freaked out, started bawling and crying and pleading with me to come home. All right, Mom, I'm coming. But you got it. Yeah, she took me home. She took all these pictures of me, of the beating. And then I went to my doctor's office where he started examining me. Well, I lost it. When I was trying to tell him what happened, I just started freaking out. And he said, would you please leave? And I looked at him and I could see he was terrified. And I laughed. So I just laughed. So I didn't have to escalate anything. That was bad enough. That summer was pure hell. Pure hell.
This is a long time ago.
Some of my friends to pure hell. I nearly killed one of my friends, a lady. You know who you are.
Okay, so here we go.
I'm very sorry for that.
Now he's discrediting himself more. Publicly. To the world. I've almost killed people. I'm totally a mental case. I'm very sorry to the RCMP. He's talking about lawsuits to other police departments when he's got a fucking huge one against the RCMP right here. Like a massive one. But he's going to... No. RCMP, I'm very sorry. Very, very sorry to the RCMP.
To live with that for the rest of my life. If that wasn't bad enough, I went to the Economy Clan Festival a couple months later in August. You know, it's a 4 or 5 days event. My family all has cottages down there. And yeah, it's quite the party, to say the least. Anyone from Truro would know. You know, it's a 5-day wide open drunk. Well, I was lucky to get maybe 5 days. I was lucky to get maybe 6 hours sleep. I'm quite the partier. You like the party. We all did back then. You know, it was a while ago. I don't do that. I don't really live that lifestyle anymore. But
I'm a drunkard
Clan
too.
Festival weekend. So I come home from the Clan Festival weekend, and my mom said something to me that my brother said, and it upset me. And I said, Jesus, man, you know, I'm gonna slap him in the head. She jumped up scared, and she knew what I was going through, crazy. She jumped up scared for Corey and phoned the police. Well, about 7 of them came, 5 to 7, including my cop's boyfriend. My ex-girlfriend, fiance's cop boyfriend came. And with my mom out on the sun deck, I looked at him and I said, I can't talk. You got to go. This is a conflict of interest. Jesus. And I said, you've already beaten me this summer. If you leave, I'll talk to the rest. Oh, he told me, go after myself. His buddies all started laughing. I went in the house, I had a standoff.
I'm not upset, Mr. Moneypenny. I'm actually looking at it quite... I'm looking at things pretty deep. And I don't see real tears. I see a man who is shaming himself and discrediting himself beyond belief. I'm a drunkard. I have severe mental illness. I do know people who have problems mentally. They don't run around and brag about it on the internet and then apologize to the police, but talk about lawsuits to other people who intently, lawsuits to other police departments, but they're very sorry that they were left out in the bush freezing their ass off and spoke in the media. And sorry about that. Sorry about the fact that you didn't use the emergency alert system. There was nothing wrong with that. You were just not supposed to ever use it. No, to me, it seems like absolute horseshit. So that they can then say in court later, if somebody were to call him, well, look, the guy is crazy. He says he's crazy. You can't believe a word that he says. He's a discredited witness. It has nothing to do with an interview I like or don't like. It has to do with he spoke the truth. And now all of a sudden he's apologetic because he spoke the truth. Who apologizes for speaking the truth? People don't apologize for speaking the truth. It seems like you want to discredit. I don't understand that. I'm watching it objectively, but you seem to try to poo-poo arguments that I make. I point out time discrepancies, and you seem to have a problem with that. I draw them out very clearly to the point that there is absolutely no way that I'm wrong, and you tell me that I'm wrong. Why would you want to tell me that I'm wrong? That seems as though you might have an agenda. Just saying.
And off for 5 hours scared because I didn't want to take another beating. I was already I've been traumatized by the Truro police so bad over the years. 5 hours later, I was exhausted. I said to fucking hell with them, giving up. I told them I was going to come out and just give up. And so I come out and gave myself up. I'm laying face down on the ground. I'm going to try to demonstrate this to you so you can see how severe it was. As I'm laying face down on the ground, cuffed, he come up from behind me and started punching me in the head. And my head's hitting the ground like this. And as I'm rolling over, getting punched in the head like that, it nearly knocks me out. I'm in so much fucking pain. His buddies are all standing there fucking laughing. Nearly knocks me out. Then this great big cop comes over. This great big guy. I never knew him. Must have been a summer cop or a new cop. He was a tower. Grabbed me by my throat with both hands, lifted me up off the ground, and threw me in the back of the police van. Next thing I know, I lost 2 years of my life in East Coast Forensics Hospital.
Okay, full on crazy.
And I would like to take a moment in saying something about that. Thank you, Dr. Terrio, for saving my life. You saved my life. I owe you my life. You're the reason why I'm sitting here right now. I've been through so fucking much. Dr. Terrio, I owe you my life. Thank you very much, yeah. Dr. Terrio, and all the rest of the mental health team and doctors and everybody else that I've seen. Thank you very much. I want this video to go viral, please. As viral as it can.
Go viral.
I need closure. I need closure from the Truro police trauma. As if last weekend wasn't bad enough, but I need closure from the Truro police trauma. I have everything here for a lawyer. Everything you'll need. Yeah. Case closed.
You've got Seriously. It. You've got what I'm saying. You've got it exactly.
Me. That's my request today. Help me. I offer this lawsuit to a lawyer to take on. You can have 100% of the money. 100% of the money. I just want closure. I need the closure that bad. I'm begging any lawyer to help me. Thank you, Joel Pink, for returning my call.
Pink.
When I was in the QE2 mental hospital. That meant a lot, Joel Pink. If you can help me or refer somebody that can, I don't care, New York, Toronto, Vancouver, wherever the law firm is, My grandfather died for millions. That was my grandfather. Look at what the Truro police did to me. The money's yours.
Yeah.
I want closure.
Yeah,
Please help me.
I think I know what's going on.
My heart goes out to all the victims of the massacre. I'm there with you. I'm suffering. And it's time to stop bashing the RCMP.
Oh,
That alert bullshit, whatever. You know, we're in the Stone Ages. Think about it. And who would you have ran in against that machine gunist? Would any of you? I wouldn't have. Especially they probably knew more than I did. I'm very sorry for the comment I made on the news once again to the RCMP. I'm sorry.
okay. So think about it this way. What has he done? He has fully and completely exonerated the RCMP. 100%. He said, I am willing to go after the Truro Police Department because they're really bad. The RCMP are so good, I would never even think of saying anything negative against them. This is what this interview is about. Exonerating the RCMP, and I want it to go, quote, viral. I'm crazy. I'm an alcoholic. I almost killed a woman. I mean, anybody who wants their lawsuit to be successful against the Truro department, I don't think would want to go out publicly and say that kind of stuff. You wouldn't, because it would kind of discredit your claim. You follow me? You don't do that. What he wants to do is paint the Truro department so bad and say that his judgment of, he's very good at deciphering who's a good police department versus who's a bad police department. And in his view, the RCMP is so wonderful. How does that make sense to you? The comment about the alert system is we live in a stone age. No, they used the alert system twice on the Easter long weekend, twice. Once for COVID and once for an Amber Alert. The following day, the RCMP, was it the following day or a couple of days later, they were able to use the emergency alert for the airsoft gun and construction sites. So, no, I don't think we live in the Stone Age, sir. Everybody got the alert. Oh. Get some issues over here. So, if you can't see what he's trying to do is fully and completely exonerate the RCMP, fully and completely discredit himself and anything that he has ever said, and he wants you to go and tell everybody. If you don't think that the health department showing up at his house was slightly intimidating, let's factor in one other key piece of evidence here. Oh, I'm getting some seizing here. I don't know if I'm having problems on your end. One other key piece of evidence. That would be Tara making a video, speaking her truths about the RCMP, and the RCMP threatened her. Now, do you think that they're above and beyond threatening Clinton Ellison? Do you think that's possible? They did it once before. They kind of have a track record for it. I kind of think that they did. Because I think somebody's in a lot of deep shit. And Mr. Ellison, anybody in their right mind, I don't care if he's out to lunch, because we have multiple lawyers, including Mr. Beaton, lawyer, and I know from the side law that the RCMP have a major set of civil lawsuits pending against them, potentially. So I think Mr. Ellison has very, very good case against the RCMP. In fact, far better and far more monetarily punitive against the RCMP, as does all of the families and anybody who has been affected by this, whether it be traumatic because they've witnessed something, whether it be damage to property, or family members that they've lost, or pain and suffering that they, in fact, have endured because they had to live through it, like the kids, like the man who was shot. Two, I think there was 2 people that were shot, aside from the RCMP. Chad Morrison, two. There was one up north, too. So, I call gigantic bullshit all over this. And it's just about more PR to save the RCMP. Just like there's media scrubbing. Just like there's, no reports being surfaced except for a month later. Do you think that possibly Brenda, the lady who came out the other day, do you think she contacted the media a month ago? I don't think she probably sat on that for a month. She's like, woke up a month later and she's like, oh my goodness, I can talk about this now. I'll just do that. No. It would be fresh in her mind. Not when Killer Bees is running in the stories, not when COVID is running in the news. It would be fresh in her mind. Oh, listen, Gabriel Wortman. I remember him. He beat somebody up. I'm going to call somebody about that. Just like CBC didn't want to do any information about the interview that they did with Paul Wortman. This thing is a huge cover-up. I'm not wearing any kind of tinfoil on that one. I'm not. It's easy to demonstrate, and I've given proof numerous times. So I would say I would rank this right up there with that. I don't know. Maybe the man does have problems. But irrespective if he does has problems or not, are we going to say he didn't hide in the forest for 4 hours till 4 a.m.? Are we going to say that he didn't get his phone back when Beaton still to this day, who isn't crazy, who has zero problems, right? Beaton hasn't got back his wedding rings. He hasn't gotten back her cell phone. These are all rather interesting things. And I think if you were to hear from other people in this story, that's because you don't hear anything. You're going to hear the same things. Just like Mr. Ellison said, I didn't get my cell phone. Sounds like he spoke the truth. Why did he lose all credibility? He absolutely, totally, in my mind, has 100% credibility. Are you going to say that the events didn't happen? Let's even just go with that he is totally and utterly crazy. Are you going to say that he didn't hide in the forest for 4 hours when you can read Maclean's magazine and police officers themselves say they weren't in there for an extended period of time and that only people who were disobedient went in? That was who went in. I don't know. Are you going to tell me that all the policemen that commented in the Maclean's article are crazy now too? Because I don't think so. Why were the people targeted? They were targeted because Mr. Wortman didn't like them. He was a bad man. Listen, you can get into all the other tinfoily type stuff later. What I'm saying is you've got a sufficient case right here. I'm trying to sell everybody on something that people should be sold on. And hope to God some lawyer somewhere sees what I'm talking about and is like, listen, I'm going to take this one on. More citizens get involved. I'm not good at organizing crap because that's just not my deal. I'm just good at researching. That's it. But even if the guy was crazy, are you going to say he didn't hide in the forest? Are you going to say he didn't get his cell phone back? Are you going to say that he didn't feel that the RCMP protected him? Because you haven't heard anybody, not one person who's come out, not one who has said the RCMP protected me. They saved me. Isn't that strange? How about the man who was shot right away? Shouldn't he be saying, thank you, RCMP, you're fantastic? Just watch it float out now. Watch it. Then I'll know for sure the RCMP are watching. It should happen. The press should be all over it like white on rice. They should be looking for this person. They don't. Not one person. You have a hero that is very constructively created by the RCMP to exonerate them. Shields up. Shields up. Can't attack us. We had somebody die. Shields up. Not that I'm discounting that's terrible. However, I have my opinions on how that happened. But shields up. Don't look at us. The house is only totally on fire, but look here in the lawn, there's a piece of dog poo. No. Which goes along with the fact, listen, people, the RCMP are fucking, and I've seen this. I've seen it before. I know it from the Quebec mosque case. Very, very well. Very well. And they know I know that too. Let's see here. Let's bring up this article because they're back in court about the warrants again. If they want to be so transparent with you, let's see. Nova Scotia mass shooting. More information. New information about murder rampage delayed by government lawyers. Again. Surprise. No, come on. I don't know why they're showing this photo. Rather interesting. It's a webcam, I believe. But anyway, let's not worry about that. Government lawyers admit they are already significantly behind the court's decision for releasing information about last month's shooting rampage before they even begun to do so. The court's schedule. They don't want to release it. In order to legal challenge by media organizations for information regarding the worst spree in killing in Canada's history, the murder of 22 victims by a gunman masquerading as an RCMP officer, and up to 7 redacted RCMP documents. First of all, redacted. Let's look at that word. Redacted. Documents were expected to be released on Tuesday, according to the timetable set by who? The court ordered them to release something. But, on Friday, however, Mark Coven, representing the Public Prosecution Service of Canada, notified the judge that only one warrant could be stripped of information the Crown deems too sensitive in time for Tuesday's hearing. What the fuck is sensitive, people? Ask yourself, he's dead. There's nothing sensitive other than the RCMP fucked up. That's what's sensitive. The Crown has been working diligent on vetting ITOs, a letter from Coven says, referencing information to obtain documents that police file when seeking judicial authorization to conduct a search of someone's property. Well, whose property are we searching? A dead man. Dead men have nothing to hide. They're not going to do anything. He's not going to come and kill more people. Crazy. And you also have to take note of this. It was a letter. This is how they publicly comment to people. Through a letter. We don't do interviews. Who would do that? We don't talk publicly. We give a statement. And you just write it. Or you don't. And too bad about you. Unfortunately, because of the volume, the structure of the ITOs, and the need to consult, that process is moving more slowly than expected. Well, if it's Canada's biggest case, as Judge, what is his name? Began, the judge who's overseeing this case, said, you got lots of time. There's nothing going on here. Everybody's stuck with COVID. You guys can definitely look into this. And it's Canada's worst killing spree. You'd think you'd have the police resources to look at it. Just maybe. And as slipping is here, I would say, just saying. You got the time. Oh, but they're dragging their heels on this one. They're going to redact a whole bunch. We have identified one ITO we believe is most comprehensive and have focused our efforts on that document. That's probably a no-brainer. Maybe Wortman went to Tim Hortons. We anticipate having it ready on the 19th, so they've now delayed it. When was it supposed to be released? Today? Today's Tuesday, right? Okay, so it was supposed to be released today, and they're going to supposedly have it ready tomorrow. One document of the 7 that they were supposed to have done. They've used their black marker and blacked everything out, and they'll get it to you tomorrow. About a dead man. Cover up is huge. There are expected to be eventually to be expected 20 applications for judicial authorizations of search warrants and production orders prepared by the RCMP in its investigation of shootings, which began April 18th and continued right into the next day. The warrants, many to search properties owned by, let's add a word here, couple, the dead gunman, dead, D-E-A-D, dead, not going to commit any further crimes, D-E-A-D, dead gunman. Gabriel Wortman, 51, who was shot and killed by the RCMP, were executed at different times and in different stages of being processed. I don't know why you can't say anything about a dead man. It's not like you're going to defame him. He's already kind of did some bad things. Most people have a fairly negative opinion of him. What are you trying to protect him? Protect his public image? Case law says search warrant information, once executed and if items are seized by the police, should be public information. They did the exact same thing. I'll link this article also, sorry, in the box here. Bang. Okay. They did the exact same thing in the Quebec mosque shooting. They fought in court, tooth and nail, not to release documents. They drugged their heels. It was unbelievable how long it kept going on. Well, we think we have the thumb drives. Well, we're going to need a little bit more time. We've got to go through this for security measures, blah, 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 blah. The whole time fighting. And media are like, can you fucking issue the documents? The judge is like, please issue the fucking documents. Get them done. I'm tired of you coming in here repeatedly. He was getting really angry. Repeatedly coming in here and not issuing what I have told you to do. Do you not respect the law? You, the police, and thereby the crown, the people, do you not respect Their own law? I've ordered you to go and do something, and you failed to do it. This is what you call a disobedient child. Disobedient children need to be spanked when they get really out of line. Once. But RCMP don't care. They don't care. Because nothing happens to them. And they're like, okay, you know what? We'll just keep doing it. We've done it before. It doesn't really matter. We can bury all this evidence. You don't see that this things happen, man. Look at the fucking van incident. Did you ever hear from the hero cop? You remember him? Mr. Lee, I think was his name. Was this Lee? You remember all the video about that? And they're like, we'll make him available. We promise. He just needs a little bit of time. Never once did you hear from him. Momar Belkadir. There was another one from the Quebec Mosque. Oh, yes, this witness, you can speak to him. Oh, sorry. He has a written statement that he's issued, and that's it. And you'll never see from him again. What was it my friend used to say? He's on a beach in Tunisia. Just like the girlfriend, never going to hear from her. You'll never hear about the girlfriend, who was referred to at the very beginning as what, an important witness? Just like Momar Belkadir. Oh, well, he's a suspect. Well, no, actually, he's an important witness. We got that one wrong. I mean, if it was the girlfriend, what's the problem in saying it was girlfriend? They've been totally sketchy about the whole thing. Slippy, do you have mod status in this channel? I don't know if I ever gave you mod status in this channel. I can't see from this screen. Is there a way to promote you in this stupid thing? Anyways, I will get to it. It's up to the... So you have to make it public. It is public information. If it's registered with the court, then it becomes public. Unless you make an application, a gag order, which, funnily enough, the RCMP have made gag orders before. Made gag orders in Quebec. They'll make gag orders here. Promise you. Promise you. Who blacks out documents about a dead man? Ask yourself, who blacks it out? It's time for the government to justify, quote, any ongoing secrecy surrounding the contents of the warrants, says David Coles, a lawyer representing the media consortium, which includes Post Media, said at a hearing last week. I think this is all just fucking theater at this point. You know, they look like they're doing something, but they're really not doing anything because they're the ones who are also in on the game. They're going to fucking scrub things. They're not going to talk to people. They're equally complicit, if not more so, because they're not really reporting anything. They just fucking issue whatever the RCMP wants them to issue. The Crown was expected to release on Tuesday redacted versions. Oh, they're going to release redacted versions. Why? What do they need to redact? Maybe some people's names. Maybe. I could see. But that's not heavily redacted. And this is going to be heavily redacted, guarantee you. On the first batch of RCMP documents, 4 search warrants, 2 production orders, and more recently a closed warrant, which Judge Laurie Halfpenny McCurry collectively called the Group of 7. Interesting nickname. We're going to call them after the famous artists in Canada, the Group of 7. The documents are expected to be, what? Oh, that's right, heavily redacted. Censoring information the government wishes to keep secret. What do they wish to keep secret? Your police force? Is there something so secret? Oh, that's right. That's right. The Journalists Association 2017 award for most secretive law enforcement organization was given to the RCMP. Not CSIS. No, not CSE, which hardly anybody knows about, but no, the RCMP. because they don't tell you nothing. The judge called this the first round of redactions to be made. Okay, we'll redact some, and then we're going to want it back. We're going to redact more. You're never going to hear fuck all, man. Unless you, the people, cry for it enough. Write letters to editors, CC, all the members of parliament, just start smashing them. Boom, 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 boom. Have a mailing list. I think we should try and get a mailing list together so you can just insert into your email and just mass email them. Just keep fucking hitting send. Blow up their fucking mailboxes. RCMP, Lucky, who is it? Public safety guy. I forget the new one. Well, it's new to me. I don't really pay attention to politics anymore because it's all bullshit. All bullshit. The Crown's slow progress significantly reduces the information set to be available for this week. We can't do anything because we're very busy during this time when there's no court cases being heard on anything because of COVID. So we're going to take a lot of time. We don't have the resources. It's only Canada's biggest mass murder. We don't have anybody to do anything. Can clean up a crime scene in 3 days, but you can't release a document about a dead man. Unbelievable, people. Unbelievable. Oh, yes. Something about that I should mention. The cat videos is all I got to say. Somebody sent me about that too, Steve. I can talk about that. But there's this business about people who have channels and they're friends. You want to be friends or whatever. Don't subscribe to any of these people. Apparently, they're just fucking scam artists and get access to your accounts. This is real cool. This is the world we live in with trash. Coven said at a hearing on May 11th that the government needs to balance what's being released with keeping investigative materials confidential. Like what? Like what? Mark Hirma, lawyer representing provincial prosecution, said, even though Wortman is dead, and can no longer face charges, prosecutors are protecting that ongoing investigation. There's no investigation because there's what? Oh, that's right. No charges to be laid. Before anybody comes and says, oh, the graphics people, no, they're cooperating fully. The RCMP are fine with them. They said that. They don't have any problem with what happened about the graphics, which is a bunch of horseshit too, as we all know. As there is the possibility that given this ongoing investigation, there may be other prosecutions which can emerge. Bullshit. Just like they fought the warrants about the Quebec mosque, and nobody else got charged, by the way. 0. But you know what? They didn't release them. They released some, and heavily redacted. In a modern democracy committed to the state accountability, an internal investigation will not suffice. Very good. That's why I say we need to sue them. Internal investigation, RCMP investigating RCMPs. This is like asking pedophilias to look at pedophiles. Do you really think they're going to tell you the truth? They're not going to tell you the truth. They're going to tell you everything's just fine over here. Shauna McLeod, because the only ones who do are, quote, not authorized to, because they'll get in big shit. Shauna McLeod, another lawyer with the Nova Scotia Public Prosecution Service, said the May 11th hearing, quote, redactions take a tremendous amount of time. There we go. I've got a marker. I got some paper. Let me see how long this takes. Ooh, I redacted things. Very difficult. Takes a long time. If you're extra special needs, it does. There's consultation with investigating officers. There's work to be done by Crown agencies and both agencies with investigating officers. Do you know what this sounds like? This sounds like the emergency alert. Sounds an awful like the emergency alert. Well, we've got to consult this person, and then we've got to talk to that person, and then we've got to worry about writing the message, and, well, you know, we'll get around to it someday. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The hearings are being held by teleconference because of COVID-19 restrictions. That would be because there's nothing going on in court, as stated quite openly by Judge Began. The media's legal challenge seeking more information regarding the shootings comes amid growing calls for increased transparency in the case and its prelude. You don't say. On Friday, a group of law professors at Dalhousie University wrote a letter to Nova Scotia Premier Stephen McNeil calling for a public inquiry. Fuck the public inquiry, man. That is just a bureaucratic mess. It's a gigantic hole. It is more nonsense. It never gets anything accomplished. Lawsuit, people. Lawsuit. I'm going to say it till I'm red in the face and you're going to be fucking tired of hearing me. Lawsuit. You sue them. Public, people, with names, citizens, sue their RCMP, the government, and say, quit fucking with us. Stop it. The government investigating the government. Does this make sense? Brains. We need brains to turn on. In a modern democracy committed to state accountability, an internal investigation will not suffice. Independence, impartiality, and transparency are essential components of maintaining public confidence in the administration of justice. Only a public inquiry can satisfy these requirements, the letter says, from the Dalhousie law professors. How about this, Dalhousie law professors? How about you sue them yourself? You know the law. You can do it. Or discovery. Thank you. That's all you need to do. Gonna get some answers. Gonna get some answers real fucking fast. And if you don't, it's gonna be all over the place that the government is screwing with people. Oh, no, we can't answer that. Sorry, it's a state secret. Sorry? What did you just say? It's a state secret about a dead man. Really? Think the media'd like to hear about that. And I tell you, I'm fairly certain, mind you, they buried the Comer case against the Bank of Canada in the Supreme Court. They buried that real well. And that was citizens taking the Bank of Canada to court. Really, really great case. And of course, you never heard boo about it. You can't even find one media article on it. You used to be able to. I think there was one or two I have somewhere on my computer. The families of the victims, continuing, the families of the victims, Nova Scotians and Canadians, deserve a transparent, impartial, and independent assessment of why and how this incident occurred. Yes, they do. We do. I deserve it. I want answers. I want to know I have a good police force. I want to know I have a government who is mine, that they work for me, not that they are working against me, that they sit in court and fight to keep me who employs them, from knowing things. Does that work in the real world? Your boss, if you decide, well, you know what, I'm just not telling you anything, No, we're not telling. I'm not telling you anything. What do you think happens? You get fired. You can't do it. But somehow in this bizarre world that we've given fucking our power away, our power, we've given to police forces, we've given to governments, we've given to lifelong bureaucrats. My grandmother was very big on that, and she was so right. The politicians really, and you're going to have to go way bigger. It's a much bigger problem worldwide. These are fucking small group of people that control all of it because it's all the same all across the world. But government bureaucrats are worse than the politicians because they don't lose their jobs. They're in there for life. They can't lose it. And they make tons and tons and tons of decisions. Very powerful. The Nova Scotia RCMP continues its investigation into shootings in a probe designated Operation H Strong. All RCMP operational projects and Nova Scotia start with the letter H, the Dev Forces designation for the province. Yes, because they're, what do they call it? Division H Division. I'm glad that they're continuing their ongoing investigation into a dead man. This is really sane. Over 13 hours, Wortman and Denturas went on a terrifying mobile shooting spree across Nova Scotia, dressed in an authentic RCMP uniform, but owning several and driving an exact replica of an RCMP cruiser. Well, it was essentially a real RCMP cruiser. I don't know why we have to have this exact. The only thing that's different about it is a number, apparently. That's it. Everything else, exactly the same. Radar, cage in the back, police transmissions, light bar, exact paint job, exact push bumper, brand new. Exact. That's not a replica. That's an exact police car. I suspect it got lost in the RCMP stores list. The violent rampage began with a domestic assault when Wortman assaulted and held captive a woman in Portapique. Oh, the secret woman that then became the girlfriend, which was common law, who doesn't live with him, who you don't know anything about, and hid in a forest, and then phoned RCMP to say, please come pick me up. I'm cold. They're not going to tell you anything about it for days. Oh yeah. By the way, that important witness. Oh, we forgot to mention that. She was his girlfriend. Sorry about that. We didn't figure that one out. Just like we didn't really know whether he had a pal, because we run the pal system, over here at the RCMP, and we're so effective that we can't enter his name into the computer for days. And then when we do, well, it's likely that he didn't have one because, I don't know, maybe the computer screen is flashing and they can't really tell. I can't read that. What does that say? Well, I don't know. It's likely he didn't have one. Let's just tell the media that. That's because that sounds good. Police received 911 call around 10:01 April 18, reporting the shooting at nearby residence. Wortman then set out in an unearned uniform. Oh, that's an interesting way of phrasing it. Unearned uniform. Unearned uniform. Unearned uniform. It's not something I would choose as wording, but okay. Leaving an outrageous and tragic path of carnage, setting fires to homes, killing their occupants. Oh, yeah, well, multiple police cars. Where's that at? Well, we don't have that. That's missing. Shooting passerbys, stopping people coming to help, killing an RCMP constable trying to stop them. Again, all very questionable whether any or all of this happened. Whether this all happened. I think maybe this sentence might have some problems. And the silver tracker might have some problems. We knew some of the victims and others were seemingly random encounters, police said. He knew. His victims included a police officer. Of course, we've got to mention the first part, right? Because this is the shields up. Shields up! Shields up, Captain! Can't attack us. We had a dead one. Shields up. Nobody's going to talk to us and accuse us of anything bad. Because we've psychologically manipulated them to feel sorry for us. Because, you know, the actions of Stevenson reflect all of what happened that night, of course. Stevenson was the one that didn't make the call. Stevenson was the one that was running at the end of the road. Stevenson was... the whole thing is Stevenson, right? No. Stevenson was involved in one little part of the story. One little part. And tragically, she died. I think by the hands of not Mr. Wortman. And that is probably what part of the secret is. We know the gunman had a significant supply of gasoline in his home in Portapique. Really? Oh, they mentioned Tara's niece. That's very nice of them. Later in the story, but, you know, after shields up. We know the gunman had a significant supply of gasoline. Well, you know what? You know who knew that? People over here. That's why. We knew it right away. Press running around. Finger up the ass. Finger up the ass. RCMP. Oh, blowing smoke. There are many areas of the investigation as we continue to piece together the gunman's movements, possible motivations, and whether he received assistance leading into the incidents. An RCMP said in the investigation update last week. The RCMP behavioral analysis. Yes, this is very important. We better do a behavioral analysis, psychological profile of the guy. He's dead, after all, you know, because it's going to change a lot of things. But we can't release those documents because if we do release those documents, well, that might jeopardize something we're talking about a dead man. Operation Retard? Operation Retard. I really shouldn't use that word, but it's just true. Is conducting a psychological autopsy of the gunman. I would like to see the autopsy of Tara's family. How about that? How about any of the victims? You know why? Because, oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. The RCMP said that they will not share the autopsies with family members, which is contrary to the best of my reading of the Fatal Inquiries Act of Nova Scotia. Oops, they broke the law again. Their own law! Huh? The intent is to gather insights into reasons for his violent spree, including an analysis of his personality, past behavior, and how he related to others, RCMP said. Well, frankly, I have a book full of incidents that were reported to the RCMP over a period of decades. I think that would tell you how he got away with what he did. That would be your own fuck-ups who didn't answer any of what happened. Durr. Investigations say that Wortman left the area, in his home April 18th. He had 2 semi-automatic handguns and 2 semi-automatic rifles with him. All of them have now been recovered by police. Well, Clinton Ellison said machine gun. I thought that was rather interesting. I think they might, in fact, be RCMP issue weapons. That would be why the autopsies aren't coming out, because it might prove what kind of weapons are being used, exactly why they won't tell you what kinds of weapons were used, because, well, that might narrow down whose weapons they were. Police believe 3 of those guns are obtained in the U.S., and the RCMP is working with CBSA to probe their cross-border transit, said the RCMP. The other gun is traced origin to Canada. The caliber of the weapons was not released, because they might actually be the same caliber as RCMP issue weapons. Quote, determining where and how the gunman obtained firearms is a central part of the investigation, and we use detailed information to verify the credibility of some of the information we received, the RCMP said. That sounds like a bunch of horseshit. Police said that after Wortman killed RCMP Constable Heidi Stevenson, he took her gun with him. Well, that would be, again, Gina Goulet, for sure, if you were to take her autopsy, was maybe killed by an RCMP issue weapon. But frankly, I don't think Gina Goulet, the Shuba Kanadi incident happened. It just doesn't fit the timeline. He has 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. I can't remember. I worked it out exactly. He doesn't have very much time at all to be running around burning cars, stealing multiple cars, killing police officers, killing Mr. Weber, going down to her house, shooting dogs, shooting her, changing his clothes, finding her keys. Unbelievable. 10 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, that's going to happen in the real world. Like, I'm going to light my house on fire. Here we go. Let's light the house on fire. Oh, it's burning. It's burning. It just takes me a minute to burn down my whole entire house. Police have also identified the source of the RCMP decals on the gunman's replica cruiser. The decals were created at a business without the permission of the business owner, and both the owner and the individual made the decals are cooperating with police, RCMP said. No charges are going to be laid. You know why? Because it's not true. That's why. Further investigators believe Wortman used an accelerant to start many of the fires left behind. Really? Again, we said that, and then subsequently the RCMP said, oh, by the way, you know, he was driving around with gas cans in his car. We forgot to tell you about that part. But those fucking guys over on those YouTube channels, they were telling you about all this shit weeks ago. So, you know what? We better fucking say the truth here. The red Mazda, people, that says it all to me. Red Mazda. April 24th, their press statement says red Mazda. I get on the air, I'm bitching about the fucking red Mazda, and suddenly, April 28th, well, now it's just become a Mazda. We know the gunman had a significant supply of gasoline at his home in Portapique, said the RCMP, just like the supplied pictures a month later. Investigators have spoken to 500 witnesses. Again, my question to you people, how many of these witnesses have you heard from? Please name me one name, aside from Mr. Ellison. Oh, silence. That would be because you don't hear from anybody. Why don't you hear from anybody? Lots of people with great stories that press salivate for because this is salacious. It sells a lot of newspapers. Extra. We just spoke to somebody on Portapique Beach Road who was saved by the RCMP. Tragic, harrowing story. Everybody's, oh my God, I've got to read that newspaper. No, don't hear it because it doesn't. Not going to happen. And are continuing to conduct interviews. RCMP surveillance video from businesses and homes has been, oh, what's this? That's right, collected and never going to be returned, nor shown publicly, ever. To track the gunman's movements, ground-penetrating radar was used to search under the ground of Wortman's property in Portapique, but nothing of relevance was found. This I find rather interesting. I've always found this component interesting. What the hell were they looking for underground? Like, it's like you had some knowledge of something. You're looking for something. Searches of 17 crime scenes from the rampage have now ended, and all properties have been released to their owners. Do you know whose property? That one is a big tell, people. Big tell. Gina Wortman's property was cleaned up like that. Because that's where the gray tracker was supposed to be. But that's not what was there. It was an RCMP cruiser that was there. That's why it got cleaned up. Très rapide. Within 3 days. Bang. Done. But they have problems with markers and paper. They have problems listening to judges, giving them orders. Your police force, the law, breaking the law all over the place. Investigators still want to speak to anyone who, quote, had a conflict with the gunman, whether professional or personal at any time. RCMP said. Anyone with this information is asked to call RCMP tip line. Yes, this was like the Mr. Staples, Nathan Staples, who came out in the public and said, yes, the RCMP came, a heavily dressed tactical officer came to my house, post the Wortman, all the nonsense, and said that I was 7th or 8th on a list. Oh, you know what the RCMP said? Well, no, actually, that wasn't true. That man, he's lying. There was no list. It's funny how everybody else is lying. Everybody else is mentally disturbed. Everybody else has zippers on their mouth. Everybody else has a problem. Do you know what I call that? If you smelt it, you dealt it. You have a problem. That's the problem. You're the problem. Cat stuff. Somebody sent me something about cat stuff, which I'll just end off on. What was it? I found that rather spooky. Where the hell was that? I mean, it's probably, it's a bit tinfoily, but it was something that actually did occur. Where was that? Who was that sent that? See, look at all this good stuff. We have really good people, Really good people. I probably shouldn't, I don't know how I do that then. Well, I guess it's out there. Anyways, people driving around down there in Nova Scotia, literally going to places, going to sites, going to see stuff. This is the kind of investigating that we do here. We do real investigating. We don't fuck around. It's not just hyperbole and talk and opinions and bullshit. It is facts and on the ground. And there's lots of great people out there who are doing that too, which is awesome. And any of you, of course, who want to get a hold of me or Steve or Adrian or Cage, please do it, because if you have information, you give it to the RCMP, you're never going to hear about it. It's just the truth. And we need to talk to people who do know things about things down there. As far out as it may be, maybe there's something in there that's true. Everything is worthy of listening to. Where was the cat thing? Somebody sent me the cat thing. Well, now I can't find it. Isn't this shit? Oh, it was a comment. That was right. Somebody left a comment about the cat stuff. Let's see if I can find that. Comment about cats. On the RCMP like cats. Kitty cats. Where's comments? Where's my comment stuff? Oh, thanks for the hearts. Plaid Army girl. No problem, bro. Slippin', you're my good friend. Where is this here? Kitty cats. Uh-oh. No, I can't find it. Anyways, there was a murder out in BC. And the RCMP were doing a press conference, and they put up a bunch of slides, and all of a sudden, kitty cats appeared. Weird. They had cats, and I'm like, somebody sent me that, and I looked at the article. I was like, what the hell is this? Kitty cats. And of course, their last tweet before that night, it featured a kitty cat. Just saying. I don't know. Strange. The cat rolling around on the ground. 2:22 a.m. I have the best attitude. Well, I don't know. I'm telling you, I'm getting frustrated. I just can't deal with fucking lying. I can't deal with lying. They changed the bumper to light aluminum. Which bumper is that? Oh, yeah. Fold the tip line. Be sure to do that because, you know, that's going to go somewhere. For sure. They're not going to fucking threaten you or shut you down or keep your stuff or do anything. No. He owned a backhoe. That's interesting. Okay. Money, you've got good stuff. I didn't mean to, you know, but I'm looking at things critically. That's all. Not everyone has high IQ or is physically elite in regards to fitness, nor is everyone a born leader. From RCMP website. Oh, well, okay. Everyone should watch Waco and see what they did there. Of course, Netflix has got to have that out there. They've got to tell you a bunch of crap. Not during the pandemic, little miss. So I started the YWCA downtown Centennial. Not exactly my thing. Jiu-jitsu. Yes, he does jiu-jitsu. He's been making some really good videos lately, you know, and which is good. I understand his frustration, and I understand the fucking drama nonsense. Drama can go and fuck itself on YouTube. It's absolutely balls. I came to do YouTubes to share information I learn and learn from other people. I didn't come to have little petty squabbles and retard. If I wanted that, I'd go down to junior high and hang out with the girls. Because that's pretty cool. That's what cool people do. So I understand his frustration. Why are they lying? Wortman's dead. Even if he didn't, they can easily say they say he did. They should say something about their lack of abilities. Absolutely. They can't enter names into computers. They can't turn on emergency alerts except for construction zones. They can, you know, they're very competent. This is your national police force. This is where all your taxpayer dollars go. Very, very good. And don't worry about the next mass murder that might happen and driving around in police cars because, you know, they're right on top of it. Anyways, the push bar. Yeah, he had a brand new push bar. A lot of RCMP cars aren't even issued the push bar. If you can't deal with the lying, you've never dealt with the RCMP before. Well, I'm just saying, you know, I don't deal well with lying. I try and live my life as honest as possible. And honesty to me, I'm very anal about my definition of honesty. Honesty is not just something I say and that happens to be true. Something I say and also I don't withhold secrets from people. Like I'm not really into that. I can do it. You know, there's confidence I can keep. Yes, but intentionally withholding things from people, I don't do that because it's just not cool. That's fucking lying. You know, like Slippin was saying about the masks. I try and live my life without a mask. This is who you get. You know, sometimes I'm a bit out there. Sometimes have a bit of a temper on me. This is true, but I'm real. I'm not a fucking phony, baloney nonsense. Sometimes my hair looks good. Sometimes it looks like crap. Because I'm going to be honest with you like I'm going to be honest with my girlfriend. You know, I said that to her right when I went out with her. I said, you know, this is the kind of guy, she's like, are you honest? You know, do you tell the truth? And this is always what I say. Listen, if you look fat in those pants, I'm going to fucking tell you. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. I'm not going to sit here and butterball you and do all that nonsense. I'm going to tell you true. So that's what you can expect from me. And I want that in return. And I expect that from other people. So when I don't get it, it really fucking bothers me. Because our world is a toilet. And it's in the toilet because a lot of that. The deception in this world is unbelievable. Unbelievable. You look at your history books, you look at your media, you look at what they teach the kids, all of it. What we learned as kids, our politicians, and it's just accepted as happenstance. Oh, don't worry about it. Ha ha ha, politicians all lie. No, you change that. You fucking change that. You start here, number one, gotta do yourself, and then you fucking keep operating around you that way. And if people are shitty and dishonest, you just say to hell with you. Get on with you. I don't have time for you. You're a lying shitbag. Sorry about your luck. Move along. Yeah, of course. And you see, this is why it hurts. This is why dishonesty blows. Two things rule this world: dishonesty and fear. That's what rules this world: dishonesty and fear. You can boil it down to all that. And if people operated honestly, which most people are at their core, maybe, the world has watered them down and fucking screwed with them so badly that dishonesty becomes commonplace in our lives. And that's true. That happens. I'm going to say that happened in my life for sure too. I try always to be honest, but there is that piece. There is that temptation sometimes, right? To not say things truthfully. They're not going to get you any friends. It's just going to hurt people's feelings. Just going to get you in more trouble, whatever it is. You need to crack it for sure. Let's see here. Sorry. So, you always got such good things to say. Everybody does. You need to crack it because it doesn't add up. Listen, we only can operate with so many details. I don't, frankly, short of digging around, his girlfriend is an interesting component. Weber seems to be a dead end, sadly. But there's enough there right now to sue for negligence causing death. Community isn't talking. Why? Well, community isn't talking because the media tells you about killer bees. It's intentional social engineering. Think tanks sit there and work this stuff out. Anybody who's not familiar with think tanks, acclimatize yourself to what that refers to. Think tanks are fucking spooky places, man. If I didn't have a moral compass that I have, and not saying that I'm any great shakes, but if I had a degenerate and shitty moral compass, I would work at a think tank. I guarantee you, because it's what I do. I like to sit around and think. I'm not very good with other stuff, but gag orders on victims and family. Absolutely. Yeah. New to your channel, but I appreciate you going through the truth. Victims should sue. Thank you, Diane. Thank you for joining us. We all appreciate you here. Any stuff that you can share with us, please do. I'm not the best at answering comments. I'm just a guy who tries to do what I do. And I'm terrible with tech. Well, at least streaming wise. No talk here in Cape Breton. Well, you know what? Actually, is there anybody who's down there right now in Nova Scotia? In Cole Harbour. Cole Harbour. This would be a good thing to know. There was a house that was surrounded in Cole Harbour. I mistakenly said Cape Breton. My apologies. Cole Harbour. I'm going to have to come down and visit. Then I just don't remember. Then I'll remember names, like Shubenacadie. Did I say it right? I think I may have. Shubenacadie. If I go down there, then I'll hopefully remember the places because I go there. But in Cole Harbour, there was a house that was surrounded by police that morning, and it was a woman's house. And I would like to know anybody who knows anything about that, because it has something to do with the Wortman case. And that's from on the inside. So I don't know who it is, but anybody who knows anybody about anything or is on Facebook and just kind of sows that out there with people, Does anybody know a house that was in Cole Harbor that was surrounded? That would be good. I don't know. The girlfriend is a total mystery. I know her name. I know that she worked there. I know that they had problems. I know some of her family structure. I know zero of his family structure other than uncle, 2 uncles, the father, the mother. He may have been adopted down in the United States. Not sure about that one. He may not have been, and one of his brothers may have been adopted. I don't know. There's some sketchy stuff to do with the United States. They lived for a period in the United States for sure. But his family would probably be interesting to open up. There's no mention of any of them. That's rather interesting, other than the uncles and the father and Evelyn, Paul and Evelyn. Well, the house got surrounded that morning. I know that from the police in Halifax. So, but I don't know who, and I haven't inquired any further. I don't want to push. I'm trying to get some questions ready. So, has anybody seen any comments at all? I see your comments. My name. There you go. And I like your name too. Alphabet. Fuck Alphabet. Last December, a man was killed in the Walmart parking lot, and the cops said it was targeted, and they caught it 2 days later, and it was random. They lied. Yep. They lie all the time. Okay, I'm not going to quote. Don't quote me on everything either. I do make mistakes here and there, but try and keep them as right as possible. There's a lot of facts to keep together. All right, I will look into the Cole Harbor. I tried to look, see if I could find any stories about it. Another couple of interesting things I came across, which were there was a standoff in Portapique a few years ago, and Global has an article and a video on it. Apparently, there was something else that happened there too. And I also found another impersonating case, but when I pulled them up on my computer, all I could get was Global's page and a big blank section, and then a bunch of suggested videos underneath that. You might like these. It's like it was totally removed. So I don't know anything about that. The standoff in Portapique, apparently, I think the man killed himself. Just saying, I don't know. It was weird too, because there's not very much on it. And you'd think in this small little tiny community there would be something about it. 100 people. Not very big. No problem. No problem, my name. Beth, do you know any of the victims? Critical. What are you doing, sir? How you doing? It's good. Good friends drop in here. It's good to see them. When do you sleep? You're going stream crazy. Yeah. Anyway, so I won't keep anybody. It's been a couple hours, which are long. My streams are really too long, but I appreciate you all joining me and listening to what I've come across and what you guys have shared with me so I can share with others. I really appreciate it. Sleep is overrated. We have much to do. We do. I think I will go and visit Cage at some point. This world is just driving me crazy. I need to take a little time out probably at some point, but I came across some story that I've been kind of working on for a long time about the Conservative Party being highly compromised and Wow. Just wow. But I'll deal with all that another day when all this stuff is hopefully gone. No, didn't know any victims, but I hear the same stories some stories before the press. Are you and I in contact on Twitter, Beth? I hope so. I never know whose name is what. I like my name is fuck Google though. You make me smile. Sir, ma'am. Gotta have good smiles in this world, don't you? It's almost too tragic. You gotta laugh. 4 hours sleep. Beth, care to share any? Don't feel bad if you don't want to, though. Something is wrong with this shooting, just like Patriot Act written before 9/11. Yeah, I was talking with friend Diane and tonight, and I was saying they haven't rolled anything out to do with this. I think there was a big. This wasn't supposed to happen. You know, some of these things are supposed to happen, but they didn't have anything that would further any kind of an agenda. They want this one to go away. And I said to my friend, I wonder if it's just one of those things that they want to kind of Orwellian hole for a while, like a bad breakup, you know, and you look back at it, the relationship a couple of years later, and you're like, oh, it wasn't that bad. Not something you want to revisit, right? But you can say at that point, well, we had this big shooting, you know. We don't want anything to happen like that again, so please buy this pablum that we're going to force feed you. I don't know. Because, yeah, the Trudeau's gun law was he'd already had that in the works for a while. Banning what did he ban this time? Slingshots or something, I think. He banned a BB gun, I think. I heard that too. Unbelievable. Tardo. You're a good friend. I like good friends. You see, good friends stay together. They support one another. That's the name of the game. Thank you, sir. Red flag laws. The spirit of the truth is in this broadcast. Lord bless you all. Lord bless you. We got to stay strong for each other. I don't know if you saw the video interview with the medical staff stating waiting for patients that never come. It was very interesting how she was talking. Was that the emergency physician, the head emergency physician at which hospital was that? The hospital that they had the lockdown. They've had a few lockdowns at that hospital, which is interesting. They had two in like 3 days a little while ago. RCMP locked them down. But she said, I'm not going to divulge anything to protect confidentiality of patients or whatever. But of course, the media should have just gone in and basically said, like, you know, the media would have, because they're assholes. They used to be, and they would bang down people's doors and stuff like that. If you told them no, that didn't mean that they were going to ever stop. All of a sudden, it's like Colchester County puts out a memo on their website or something saying, oh yeah, by the way, please don't talk to anybody down here. And oh yeah, you know, we're going to listen because we're just not going to talk to anybody. Rather not say here, but I have said a few things. Okay, sorry. I'm not trying to correct you. I didn't. Before, that was in my opinion. Well, please do share at some point. If you want to feel like sharing with me, we can do it. We can do this. Do this. He banned air guns. Oh, is that why we had the emergency alert down there? Somebody dropped a board and a guy came out of the crappy tire with the legally purchased airsoft gun. Oh, by the way, we're going to turn on the emergency alert now. We know how to use it. Durr. Truro. What about Truro? Night. All right, so we're losing people. Don't want to keep people up late. According to Canada Act, they only have admiralty law. So only have rule over water and sea. Is this the traveling stuff? Yeah. We definitely have some legal problems in Canada. Definitely have some legal problems. So, no, I don't think my name, I have seen the video interview. I've read the interview. I'll look it up, though. Patients That Never Came. I'll watch that off air. But I'll just, if you don't mind, look it up now. Because I'll forget. I'll get shiny thinged into something else. Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia. I really want to come down there. That's totally an aside. I've never been to Nova Scotia. Looks very beautiful. And there's lots of great people down there. Clearly, I've come across a bunch. I'm going to say goodnight, Birdie. All right, have a good night, Birdie. Fear trickles down Parliament Hill. So does lots of other disgusting things, Roan. Lots of disgusting things. Okay. She also said there was mass shooter drill, and that was months before. Yes, I'm familiar with that. Yeah. Windsor also, there was one. Interesting. It's definitely interesting to make note of. I do have it riding around back here. Mass shooter drill in town for 3,000 or so. Yeah. Active shooter drill. Active shooter drill. Check on Jeff's Censor channel. He brought it up in one of his videos. Yeah, I am familiar with it. I haven't actually seen the video interview, but I am familiar with what she stated. And there was one patient there. That's not true. The first patient, the first person that got shot, the first patient that got shot was treated there. The man who was with the woman who was driving, who got shot by a person in a police car, but that they didn't feel that they needed to share any of that detail. He went to the hospital. He went to that hospital. Did you see this slideshow Wortman made of the cops? I'm not purposely ignoring you. I have bad eyesight. I'll just blame it on that. But no, I haven't seen any slideshow. Is that the made of the cops? Oh, please send me that. Leave a comment, Little Miss. I am not familiar with that at all, and I would absolutely love to see that. He was very pissed off with the police. He did not like them. Even though I think he had a couple of friends that were cops. There were certain cops he just did not get on with. That RCMP detachment seems to be Canada's version of Broward County Sheriff that handled the panhandling, Parkland shooting. Yeah, there's a lot of Nova Scotia, period. Like, I love all you guys down there, but you guys are really getting screwed. Well, we all are, but I just shocked at how much shit is going on. Like, police officers raping people. This is outrageous. Gang raping people. What the fuck is going on? Dealing drugs, stealing keys of cocaine, child porn, fucking crazy stuff that you would never expect from a police officer. I guess you're going to always get one or two bad apples, but there seems to be a very high rate. It's prevalent, sadly. I looked into the platform Libri. New, like BitChute, maybe better. Well, I hope so. BitChute is still processing a video I uploaded 3 weeks ago. So, well, maybe not 3 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. If I ever go there, it just says still processing. I'm like, okay, fine. Should see the Cabot Trail. Yeah, no, it looks really beautiful. Lots of band videos there. Do you know where I like to go for band videos? Crit is I like to go to Internet Archive. Some really good stuff on there. Lots of things the old Seamus would talk about. Still the same Seamus. We'll talk about in the future. Nova Scotia is gorgeous, more than beautiful. Just go because. Absolutely. Because there's so many great people. That's why I got to go, and it's beautiful. And the food probably is pretty good. That'd be good times. Too bad I don't drink anymore. I definitely missed out. I haven't seen the slideshow. Where is it? Nova Scotia is gorgeous, more than beautiful. Just go because. Lots of missing kids in Nova Scotia. Just saying. There does seem to be issues with missing kids everywhere. This kid stuff is quite disturbing. Very disturbing. Very, very disturbing. Very disturbing. Politicians and kids. It's not tinfoil. Dolphin Square. Dolphin Square. Where's that? Thankfully, you still beat up pedos around here. Yeah, the fucking normalization. Do you know another one that they're trying to slowly sow out there? It's probably about a year ago, I thought. Maybe not a year ago. Professors that are suggesting, professors of a certain ilk, just saying that happened to be the case. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but it was a fact. But they're talking about bestiality and saying that this was actually kind of a good thing. I'm like, excuse me? No, I don't want to have relations with my dog. It's not a good thing. My dog probably would not be very appreciative. But they were trying to say, oh yeah, we should have a legal, push to get bestiality made legal. I mean, it obviously, in some places it is. But I mean, I'm like, it will be the new normal, they were trying to say. I'm like, oh my God, the new normal, the new world order. People are running around with sex robots and dogs and innies and outies. Sounds to me like the CMP knew about this fellow for a long time, had several issues with him, but did nothing. Absolutely. Absolutely. They did zip. They knew about it. They just would be like, oh yeah, no, we talked to him. Of course he said he doesn't have any guns. No, there's nothing to see here. There must have been other CMP involvement, and brass were told to leave him alone. Must have come from the top. I don't know about that, but the subsequent stuff was definitely from the top. Doctors said they were waiting for victims and no one showed up. Truro. Yeah, I did read that the one person did go there. I don't know. I don't know if they're just, who knows who's telling the truth anymore. Fuck, everybody's lying. Nova Scotia's BC lots, missing kids, lots, and we caught RCMP trafficking and molesting them. Even a judge, all swept under the rug. Heard about this, yep. Talk about that. You should run video I sent of driving Portapique Beach Road. Gives great distances. Okay. You sent me a video of driving Portapique Beach Road. That sounds fucking awesome, man. Here we go. I'm sorry that I missed that, Mr. Moneypenny. My apologies. Okay, let's have a little video. This is good video. I'm not signing out. When did you do this? Thank you, sir. Oh, I have to. I just have to, Mr. Moneypenny. Hopefully everybody will get a laugh out of this. Are you driving a gray Mazda? Oh, fuck. This is awesome, sir. Thank you. Wow. Now, apparently, they just recently reopened this stuff. Fairly recently. They're taking photos, too. It's very beautiful. Great on-the-ground research. CBC doing this? The Bay of Fundy. Oh, this is so good. Thank you. This is so awesome, man. There's a cemetery down there. Interesting. Okay, so there's one site. This is going to be Gabriel's house, I believe. Would that be right? Oh, it's from a YouTuber, not me. Okay. Well, this is fucking awesome. Whoever did this. Do you know who did this? I'd love to have a chat with them. Okay, question. Here's another question. You can put in the comments the answer if you have or are feeling so inclined to answer. Why did the police leave one cruiser when there were 3 cars? All 3 of which I have learned that are police cruisers, even though they say there are 2. Why did they leave one? They hauled the other 2 off. I saw the flatbed too that they used. Jesus, he just fucking burned that down. Zone 6. Oh, this is roads, man. Mr. Al, this is roads. Like, I know there's no way he drove a cruiser through the field. They didn't suggest that it was cruiser, though. They were using obfuscating language by saying vehicle. Jesus, the people in Portapique must just be want this to go away. They don't want people probing around there, probably. Oh, we got an address, 200 Portapique Beach Road. As Taggart said, a lovely big place. Toward Ferris. I'm gonna have to go get a drink. Watch the end of the drive. Blown out. Brown loop, easy. Oh, I'm gonna watch this. I'm watching. Oh, probably smoke weed. It's been settled for a lot longer. Now hold on a second here. Okay, whoa. Oh, this is the back. How did that? Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Okay. I thought that was almost across the way. Mr. Wortman had a little bit of money. Whoever this is had to have, I know that whoever this is had to have, be somebody who either lived there or knew somebody there, was a family member, because there's a private security guard on the road, I've been told. To Ferris Lane. Yes, the Titanic victims. Mm-hmm. I want to go to the museum there, the Maritime Museum. He did not drive Orchard Beach Road, though. Oh, interesting. Oh, there's something else. So watching this, keeping this in mind, this is the kind of thing I've been talking about. The RCMP are trying to tell you he drove this distance, he burned down all these houses. We're just at 2 now, only 2. And he did this in 34 minutes. Are you out of your fucking mind? There's no way. It's also really sad to see. Wow. Jesus. They just gutted those houses too, eh? So you went to the 2 locations? Not possible. Complete cognitive disconnect to say that he did this in 34 minutes. There's still what? At least one more house. least one more. Yes, 5 kilometers, I think I heard. He's driving around, gas cans, subduing people, tying them up, burning them. No fucking way. 34 minutes, no way. I mean, he's going the speed limit and kind of slow, but still, the video is 16 minutes long alone. Plus, in order to go through the field, the only one I can see that he can go through, it's like he's got to go way down to the south, way over through this cut line, which is not really a field at all. It's a cut line. And that's going to take him a while. Well, I'm glad you got out. Just wave. That's nice, friendly people. We've been utterly traumatized. He's taking photos of the Bay of Fundy. I'm taking it he's not a resident. He, she, whoever. Wonder how they got on the road. Could be the other side, maybe, that has the security guard. Brown Loop. Brown Loop? Is this the supposed other way out? Oh. Okay, the field. There are many fields and roads around Brown Loop where the gunman escaped the RCMP perimeter. I don't think so. I have a ranch. You can't take cars through fields. It doesn't work. God knows why. Oh, Alberta flag. Interesting. Aaron. Julie and Emily. That's the way it is in this world. In order to get to the top, you got to be shit. You got to sell your soul. Most of the time. Step all over everybody else. Wow. Do you know who? Do you know who Corona farts? Oh my goodness. That's foul. Do you know who sent that video? Or where you picked the video up? Zone 6. I see. Okay. Ding. That'll probably put me on a list. Let's see what else they've got. Oh, wow. They do have a couple. Wow. Nova Scotia mass shooting route. They got some good things in here. Anyways, I won't keep you guys all. Thanks very much for joining me tonight. Gosh, my hair. Not so good. All right. Anyways, have a super evening. Thank you very, very much for joining me. Welcome to the channel. Anybody who's new, appreciate that. Diane, thank you. And have a super fantastic evening. And I'll dig a little bit more and we'll reconnect. Thanks very much. God bless everybody. Special prayers.